I'd be fine if it was like 45 minutes. And we are live. Look at Erdy's. Enter your referral code already. I appreciate that, Samsara. Okay, so we are live here with episode 56 of the GameFi Rundown. We have Jimbo as usual, and we have TSG. So, Jimbo, welcome. TSG, welcome.
Gang.
What's up?
What's up? Before we get into it, I just want to say for the past 2 episodes, I've been doing little giveaways, so I'm going to do another little giveaway here. I bought 2 sets of these Halloween emote discs, and I wasn't really even paying attention to know that they would already come opened. So I don't need 2 sets. So I made a tweet and said that I would give away one of these sets. One of them was going to be to somebody who commented on the tweet, which I haven't done yet. So if you want to go find that tweet, commented on it, and I'll give one. And then the other 2 I'm going to give away at the end of this episode. So if you let me see, if I go here, what do you need to type prize, #prize in the comments, and you can be entered to win one of those other 2 emotes. And I'll do that at the end of the episode here. But yeah, TSG, Jimbo, the thing I wanted to start out with was just like, what's the state of Illuvium right now? Because, there's a lot of FUD going on. The markets are down. I think there's a lot of things coming that we're waiting on that aren't quite here yet. What is Jimbo drinking? Coke Zero? Let's see. What else do I have here? So we are getting new updates. We got updates to Gauntlet, an update just this morning to Illuvium 0. We've seen, leaks of overworld features that are coming with, alluvial combat. It seems like there's a lot going on right now, but I feel like if I'm speaking as like a player, a community member, like I'm waiting for more. I'm waiting for that big thing to come. But TSG, what would you say the state of Illuvium is right now? Does the community have anything to worry about?
Before I answer that question, I want to ask you guys and just get some context. Jimbo, I'm pretty sure that the game that you like the most, the title that you like the most, is Arena, right? That's the one that you want to work, Gauntlet to work. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And Najib, I want to say 0, but I don't know. Is it Overworld? Like, what's the game that you're like, yo, this is the one that I really want to work?
Honestly, in my ideal world, it would be something on mobile, because mobile is just the easiest thing for me to get into. Like just the time it takes to, like, if I'm even at my computer to load up the game and all that, it just takes too long. So I've definitely leaned towards 0. But honestly, if we got Arena or some degree of the overworld on mobile, I would probably play that just as much. But just the fact that it's mobile is why I've leaned more into Illuvium 0.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. In terms of getting Arena onto mobile, that's actually actively being worked on. So I think that will help. There's I even see it around, and there are a couple of things that we can do to make it more accessible. I wouldn't even say make the game better, because that's a different conversation, but make it more accessible, getting it onto mobile, localizing it. I know a bunch of people here in China would, or even Thailand or the Philippines. I know these are the 3 countries that love the order battle genre. So localizing it and putting it on a mobile would be massive. But in terms of the state of Illuvium, it's not in an ideal situation. I'm not going to pretend about that. It's not in an ideal situation, but there's a lot more to look forward to than worry about, if I'm being completely honest. I think there are conversations right now. So Overworld has some fundamental flaws with the game of the pack opening. Like, it's just not a thing. And we've discussed, and I know people are looking forward to, and I'm open to say this because Kieran has mentioned this, people are looking forward to multiplayer and combat. I think those are going to be great features. Are they going to save the overworld? I don't think so. But what I think they do is that actually allows us to use those mechanics in something else that is something that would be appealing to the average player, to casual players. I was having a conversation with Nick the other day, not you, old Nick, the other day, and I was talking about how and it's funny because it's on the list. We'll talk about Off the Grid later as well. But a game like Off the Grid appeals to casuals. Right now, the game that we have and the most polished game that we have is Gauntlet, and there's a lot more that goes that needs to go into it. I don't know if you guys have played the latest patch. It is actually a lot better. I think I'm pretty confident saying the foundation is there. There's a couple of things that we need to do to add balancing. Nil has really stepped up. His direction that he's taking the game has been incredible. But what I was saying was our main polished game right now is Gauntlet. And don't take this the wrong way. I am in this category, so no one come at me. But it's a game that's targeted at nerds. It's not a game that a casual player can come in and just say, "Oh, let me just play." It's a nerdy game. Games like Age of Empires, RTS, like all of these type of games are generally pretty nerdy games, and we don't have a casual game. But I think what multiplayer and combat can do is set us up to make a game directed at casuals, and I think those are pretty core fundamental building blocks that can make us get to that point. So if we get that done, if we polish up Gauntlet, which I think is, look, I'll say to get it to a point that is properly good, 6 months away. If we can get it to that point, I think 3 months we really start to see it take shape and take its unique identity. 6 months, I think, is where it starts standing on its own 2 feet. I think we're going to be seeing it, and obviously with the market, but let's not take that into consideration here. But as a whole, I think in 6 months we're going to be seeing a very different tune about the state of Illuvium, is where I stand. And maybe, Najee, if you tell me as well, because we're internal, we see a little bit more. I understand maybe the lack of information from the outside. It makes you worry or makes you say these. Like, I get it. But I think the reason I'm not as worried and a little bit more calm is that I am on the inside. I am seeing these conversations. I am a part of the conversations. I am seeing the development. That I'm like, oh, no, it makes sense. Like, we launched too early. We had delayed too many times, and we didn't want to delay again. There are pros and cons. That's a whole different conversation. But pros are we got to identify some of the core issues with the onboarding IMX passport. There's so many things there. The cons are bad first impression, releasing a incomplete product. So it's a nuanced conversation. But the state of Illuvium, I think we're okay. Like we're
okay. And I'm gonna say something a little different than that. I think when we launched was actually a great time to launch because we got to find the flaws before the bull market really picked up. If we were just if we launched and Bitcoin and the whole market just went straight up, then we would have been dealing with issues when we're attracting the most people into the game. Now we had that. I mean, at this point, it's only been what 4 months? No, 3 months. I don't even know. Like 3 months to really kind of figure out what changes need to be made. From being internal, I can tell you everyone's still working their ass off. No one's slowing down. Everyone wants to see this succeed. There's a lot of things in the works. I hear a lot of things that I'm excited about, and I'm just ready to see those, get announced. So yeah, I guess being internal and seeing more things, I'm not too worried about it. I've always been bullish on Illuvium, and I still think that we're heading in the right direction. I'm not concerned, and I do think another thing different from what you said. I do think we can rely a little bit on the market. I think when the market really picks up, Illuvium's gonna move with it. I think we're in a good enough state where the market is gonna help tremendously.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim, what do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say something that's frustrating for me is on the influencer side. We have things lined up that I want to show the community, but we can't because the game isn't at a state that it needs to be at. But it's not even like there are exciting things that I just want to pull the trigger on. It's there. The bullets kind of in. I don't even know gun terminology. I'm sorry, Jimbo. But the bullet's ready essentially, right? It's in the chamber, and I just want to pull the trigger. But it just takes a little bit of time. So I think, like you say, if the market does come back and the game does get to a bit more of a polished state, if we can fire those shots at that time, I think is going to have a much better impact as well. Sorry, Jimbo.
No, all good. So I have three things that I'm going to talk about. First off, Gauntlet should be in a way better place than it is right now. It took way too long to get to where it is. That that being said, I do think we're in the right direction. I haven't played it yet, but I've watched a decent amount of people playing it on the Discord while I'm working, and it looks like the balance is starting to get there. I've been seeing still very like rogue heavy, but I'm seeing some other things start to win and some other things start to work its way in. So I'm excited to finally get into play that. And I think Gauntlet's finally in a going down the road that I hoped it would from the beginning. The issue is it just takes so long. It feels like sometimes for Illuvium, and I'm not saying nobody's working hard. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying it feels like we are going at such a slow pace when we kind of need to be picking it up. But again, I think once the bull market returns, we start getting some capital in. That should help speed things up. Number two, this is also kind of a big concern. Like, I love the idea of the real time combat in the overworld. My only concern is that it's not going to be interactive enough. And from like playing RuneScape and stuff, I could see where it could just be a super monotonous grind where you're just like attacking these alluvials and there's no actual real strategy involved, or you don't have to use your brain. That is my biggest concern with the combat in the overworld. And again, I haven't seen enough of it to actually be able to make that claim confidently. That's just my only concern. On a brighter note, I was looking at the IIP for the Wave 3 Illuvatars, and I'm usually the guy who says, I don't care about Illuvatars, but I was liking what I was seeing. So for the most part, the additional miscellaneous rewards that they give out for the top 25, top 5, and top 1 winners of the Wave 3. So the top 25 get
top 250. Top 250 get rewards.
Yeah, but the miscellaneous rewards. So top 25 will receive one unique version of one of
yes,
the
yes,
Wave
yes.
3 Illuvatars. Top 5
Yes.
receive special hollow version of one of the Wave 3 Illuvatars, and then the winner, like, so the top 1 will receive a special one of a kind Wave 3 Illuvatar. That's so sick, dude. I actually love that. That is so awesome, because the ILV rewards, from my perspective, aren't enticing enough to even try. But these are the kinds of things that I mean, I don't have the money to spend on it, but if I did, these are the kinds of things that would pull me in. And also looking at the so we're going down to 5,000 alpha standard discs and now 1,500 alpha mega discs, bringing it down. That kind of shows where we're at, sadly, but also at the same time, I think that's gonna it's gonna be more. So I only care about alpha discs. I only care about alpha Illuvatars. That's just the kind of person I am. So these low numbers, even with the way the market is, and even with the way Illuvium is right now, to me, I'm gonna be buying some of these. Not a ton, but I will be buying these because I'm just like that. That adds the collective aspect to me. So that's personally where I'm at. I think we're not in a good place at all, but we there's still hope, and we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have I waited. Sorry, I'm getting text. I waited to not put it in this episode, but I'm gonna put it in the next episode. But I want to have one all about Wave 3, Illuvium Beyond, all the new things that are coming. That'll probably come in 2 weeks, because we do have the Wave 3 coming up in a few weeks from now. But yeah, I am excited for that. You know, sometimes I forget that's coming, but like that'll be a revenue boost to Illuvium. You know, people are gonna want to buy these things. You know, spend a lot more than someone like me, or I had stocked up on a little bit of fuel when I go into the overworld. I don't really need to buy more right now. It keeps trending down, but like when Illuvatars come out, I'm definitely going to be buying a bunch more of those. But also, what you had just talked about, Jimbo, that hasn't passed the IMC yet, right? So that's not set in stone, right?
No, not yet.
It will. It will. Like,
yeah, I mean, it will pass, but no, it's not yet technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's actually a good transition into this next segment here, because there is a lot of stuff going on in governance, and I just want to bring some of those ideas up. This was, for an example, what Jimbo was just talking about. That's something that's going through governance right now. A lot of new proposals. Let's see. I wrote down some notes. So there is actually a
Great
VONC
segue.
in place for an ICC member. So fight for ETH. I don't know if any of you guys want to say anything on that. I'm not going to get too much into it, but definitely go into the Discord and check out that thread. There's the reason for the VONC, there's the defense for the VONC, and then you can vote up, a thumbs up or a thumbs down on it. There's a proposal out there for a new blueprint minting, whatever you call it, however it would work. The blueprint thing idea, go check out that one. We got removal of the bonus fuel. I'd be happy for that to happen. I don't like that it says this is the fuel you buy plus 10 or 1,000 more fuel or 10,000 more fuel, whatever it is right now. I'd rather see the actual price. So I'm looking forward to that possibly getting through. And then, the Beyond Leaderboard change. But yeah, is there anything that stands out to you on what's going on in governance right now? Jimbo or TSG? Jimbo, I see a little smirk. I don't know what you're smirking about.
I mean, we got a little situation going on. You know what I mean? That's what happens when Jim Marino's not on the council. It all burns down. So, but I told you guys I'm not doing it again. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, you guys can check out the VONC that's going on. Pretty interesting. I don't really have much to say on that, except if you get VONC'd, put a lot of effort into defending yourself. Otherwise, people are going to think that you're guilty.
Guilty. It's a verdict. It's a guilty verdict.
Yeah,
You know what I
I'm not
mean?
going to say too much onto it. I did read through it. I'm going to choose not to vote up or down on this one. I'm going to let the community, make a decision on that one. But I just like that there's stuff going on. And honestly, a VONC tells me that, people care. It means that the people who put the VONC in place, like they obviously want to see things succeed. And in their opinion, something's not working out. So it's better than kind of just letting things go. So it just there is some life in there. So if you're not somebody who goes and checks out those governance ideas and the governance or the feedback ideas in the Discord, I encourage you to get in there and just look at them, vote up and down on different things, see where Illuvium is heading. Just like what we were talking about for the state of Illuvium. Like if you see all these ideas coming through, especially the ones that are coming through from, actual core contributors that are more likely to actually get through, then I think you'll get a little more excited about what's coming in the future. TSG, anything on this?
About the VONC or just governance?
No. I mean, just about anything in like governance. Like, how are you feeling about how governance is working? Proposals getting through.
Yeah, I think it's
new
fine.
ideas coming in.
I think it's fine. Generally happy with most of the guys on there. Obviously, that there might be one or two that I don't think should be on there, but I mean, the people get what they voted for. So overall, I think it's fine, and it's good to see the whether I agree or disagree with it. It's good to see the process kind of work itself out with the VONC and let the chips fall where they may, right? Like let the process play out. So it's cool to actually see some accountability and not just not some candy land. Everything is great. Like I'm glad that they're having this conversation. I'm not going to say if I agree or disagree,
nothing,
but
yeah. And it's not new actually. We're going to be going. This is the third epoch in a row. There's been a VONC. Two unsuccessful. And we'll see what happens on this one. All right, so we can move on to this next topic here. So straying a little bit away from Illuvium, I want to talk about something I'm pretty excited about. But the Liz coin for ETH lizards, or now, if you've been here for a while, you might still think of them as ETH lizards, but they're actually Lizard Labs now. But their Liz coin is coming out on November 6th. And there was a whole kind of debate about whether they were going to try to get listed on a centralized exchange and, open it up to more people, make it easy for people to buy. But they decided to go with the XBorg model of just launching directly on a decentralized exchange, no centralized exchange, and just I almost feel like because it's a little harder to get, the people who are actually going to buy that coin are more likely to hold on to it than dump it. And it's been very successful for the XBorg token so far. I think they had a little dip very early on, but then for the most part, it's been trending upwards. So I think that's what everyone's hoping for this Liz airdrop. But I wanted your opinions on it. Do you think it maybe XBorg was just some special thing that worked out well with the coin, or do you think it was the model that they chose of going just just a DEX instead of a centralized exchange? And what do you think about the Liz coin?
I think it mostly just has to do with the extra fees and then the accessibility for normies versus like hardcore crypto guys, right? I don't know if there's too much more to say about it.
Yeah, but more access from a centralized exchange, it tends to lead to coins dumping more.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So like if you release on sorry, I meant to say maybe I said that wrong. I meant the opposite of whatever I said, I think. But so if you release it on a centralized exchange, obviously because the normies are buying it up really quick, then
Yeah.
everybody dumps. But if it's on a decentralized exchange, there's more fees, and that's where the hardcore people are. So they're more likely to hold on to it because they believe in the project, or that's at least the theory, right? So who knows? Like obviously, export could be the 1 in a million where it didn't work out that way, or that makes the theory wrong. But I don't see how it would work any other way.
Yeah, and from there, one of their town halls when they were talking, it's just like they said it could cost hundreds of thousands to get listed on just like a I guess what you would call like a
Really,
tier 2 exchange, and it could cost, I think they were saying, uh over a million, upwards of 1.5 million to get listed on something like Coinbase or Binance.
I believe it.
And it's like if you want to go on a centralized exchange, those are the two you really want. So instead of losing out on over $1 million just to get listed and then the coin likely dump anyways, why not just go right on a decentralized exchange? And that way you're basically moving that $1 million that you would have spent can go into the hands of holders that actually care about the project. uh TSG, what do you think about this? You were into ETH lizards before I was. You were one of the people who told me about it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what do you think
Uh,
about this point? Are you still involved at all?
No, I'll be honest. No, like I see it happening. I actually don't. I haven't kept up to date with anything. Yeah. Regarding that, look, I wish them nothing but the best. I think they're going to do well. They always have. I think, and he's phenomenal at what he does. The guy, like I've been seeing some of the marketing stuff that you guys have been doing with a bunch of the influencers. Like I think what Xborg did really well was the marketing of it. I know that they did get, if I'm not mistaken, Becca to mention. I think they got Becca involved in some way, if I'm not mistaken. So I think if you can get a couple of those big names that can swing it for the Lizcoin, I think that'd be great. But I think it's more of a marketing thing than whether it's on a centralized exchange or a DEX. Like those are going to play out the way we assume. It's more about how well they market it. And so far, I think they're doing well. It's just if they can get a couple of those big names in. And the thing is, I know that they're connected with the Elios, with the Beckers, with the Neo Tokyo. Like I know they are connected. So if they can pull some strings there, I think it's a big win for them.
Yeah, and if they're taking the money that they would have spent on a centralized exchange and using it for marketing, I would be happy with that too. I don't know exactly what their plan is, but I'm sure there's going to be something going on. And yeah, if you were to say, what do I want Lizard Labs to spend $250,000 on right now, a centralized exchange, or to market it through some big influencers, I'd pick the influencers every time.
And I agree with Icy as well in chat, where he's saying start with the DEX and then you come out with a centralized exchange listing. It's one of those bullish things that the community wants to hear. Dropping that immediately kind of takes that opportunity away. I agree completely.
Yeah. No, I completely agree too. When I say I like the idea of a decentralized exchange, that's just for this TGE. What the heck you have going on behind you, Jimbo?
Hey,
Um,
hybrid.
but what was I
That
gonna
was
say?
hybrid,
Oh,
right? Am
but
I
yeah,
crazy?
I would still hope for a big exchange listing like down the road, even if it's towards the top of the bull market. Yeah, that'll probably give everyone a chance to move it over and sell. But getting onto a centralized exchange eventually, I think would be the goal. But starting out just on on a Dex, I think is a great idea.
Makes sense.
All
Agreed.
right. And by the way, Xborg,
Oh yeah.
I've been
Happy
looking
Halloween.
more in. Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah,
man.
it's Halloween for you already, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I dressed up as an alpha male today.
Jesus Christ. Dressed up as a top G.
You're damn right.
You know, there was one point in the summer when I was riding my bike with my daughter on a bike path, and there was like a little like kids camp, and then some little kids started yelling at me, "Top G!"
What the hell?
That's sick.
I get the beard. I don't know. I guess I
I
just
love that.
point.
That's so
Um,
funny.
but yeah, I gave him a little fist bump and said, "Yeah." But yeah, I was gonna say before we move on, I was gonna say I did kind of I made a tweet about this. I did kind of fade Xborg at first, but I've been looking more into them, into the coin, and I like what's going on there, and I might decide to make a little bit of content on that too. But we'll see. I'll make some and see what you guys all think about it. And one more thing before we move on to this next one is I'm giving away 2 of these. Now we're talking spooky stuff now. I bought 2 sets of these, so if you didn't hear me at the beginning, I'm gonna give away 2 of these from this episode. So just type hashtag prize in the chat, and then I'll pick 2 winners at the end, and then one of them is gonna go to a tweet I made earlier. So if you want to go find that tweet and leave a comment on that,
They look so
I'll be giving
sick.
away 3 of these. All right. So yeah, hashtag prize in the chat. All right, so this next one,
Hashtag
off the
pride in the
grid.
chat.
Huh? Prize in the chat?
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, so off the grid, obviously, I guess we're maybe a little late to this. It was really, pumping, or not pumping, but like it was really like getting a lot of attention, about 2 weeks ago. But it seemed like what off the grid did was just like pay a ton of money to a ton of big influencers, which I know can't be sustainable. I know they can't keep it's from what I heard, it was like millions of dollars to these big influencers to play the game and hype it up, get so many people involved, some of the big name Web2 influencers. But knowing that that's not sustainable, like you can't just keep paying these guys forever. Is that the blueprint? Is that what projects can look to do, or is it only temporary and then things fade off and they just go back to where they would have naturally gone?
So, yeah. I would love, I don't know if IC's still in the chat. I would absolutely love for him to come up if he's down for it. Just because I think a conversation I haven't played off the grid, but I have watched content. I've done a pretty extensive report on the influencer marketing campaign that they did, when they started, when they ended, how many people, the amount that they've spent. So I've got more of that analysis on it, and I'd love to hear someone else. But anyway, let's do it. Yo, can we send IC the thing? Yeah, bring him up. Because I want him to. Yeah, for sure. Because I'd love to share what I think and get his feedback on as well. Yeah, let's do it. Impromptu. This is what happens when you have Taran on.
Do you have it set up for 4 cameras, Najaf?
So actually this new setup should automatically drop them in. It was like a new feature for this thing.
I'm gonna share.
Where am I putting this?
I see.
Where do I want to put the link? I see.
In his DMs. Do you not have his DMs?
Telegram? Yeah, but I'm usually on Discord. I don't have them on Discord. I have them on like 3 other things.
Bro, I'll send it.
All right.
It to him.
I'm sending it in a.
You got it?
What is this? Telegram.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll hold off on my thoughts and wait till he gets here, because I'm keen to. But I mean, yeah, we'll start with Jimbo then. Jimbo, what are your thoughts on the whole off the grid thing?
I think. I mean, it depends, right? Because with off the grid, it's a first person shooter first off, so it's easier just to straight up get into. So you're looking to specific content creators for that kind of game, versus with Illuvium, you're looking towards TFT players, right? So I kind of, it just depends. It's not the same with this game versus that game. But I think personally, influencers are the way of the future, right? Regardless, so I don't have any problem with it. It just depends on the amount of money you're getting versus the amount of value you're getting out of it, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to quantify that.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Yo, what's up,
I
Icy?
see.
What's good?
What's
I've
going
been
on,
trying to get
boys?
you on as a guest for a full episode, and then it just takes you being in the chats and TSG to like, say something, and now you're in here. You're gonna have to come back for a full episode soon, all right? Come back for a full episode, but we got a couple of segments here.
Damn, I got put me on blast already. It's an honor to be here.
Well, welcome.
It's an honor to be here, man. Yeah, I saw TSG up here. Much love to Najafe and Jimbo. Guys, I'm a big fan of the show. So long time listener, first time caller. It's great to be here. Won't be my last time.
You're breaking
yeah,
up, a little, at least on my end.
What we
Nah,
talking
he's
about?
good.
All right, Brent. What are your thoughts? Because you're deeper into the obviously my point of view is more Illuvium focused. You're more in tune with the wider Web3 gaming stuff. What are your now? It's been I mean they launched on the 8th. It's now the 31st, so it's been about 2 to 3 weeks of up the grid. What are your thoughts on it? Like you can go objective, subjective, whatever. Like what are your thoughts on their marketing initiative? Was it the right time? Was it the right thing? Just go, do whatever you have in your mind and then put it all out there. I want to see what you think.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we spoke a little bit about it in the DMs. Personally, I loved so much of it. I was impressed by it. I thought it was friggin' awesome, right? Like we were in the Pioneer program for the past 2-3 months, could play on the weekends, got a taste of the game, was having a bunch of fun. It was definitely not optimized. I think I started with like 15, 20 frames. It was terrible. Then Andy Claps had posted like a video on how to get more frames. I instantly got like 80, 90 frames per second, had a much better experience. Then out of nowhere, they dropped like a surprise Beyonce album. They're just like, boom, it's playable for anybody around the world. I immediately go to Twitter. I see Gaspode streaming off the grid, and I'm like, whoa, like this is amazing. Then at like 12 o'clock that day, they're like, oh, hey, guess what? There's a Ninja content pack, and Ninja's going to be streaming at 2 p.m. And it's like, holy crap, they got Ninja. Like, this is a massive kind of like coming out the gate launch. Of course, it generated a ton of buzz, a ton of millions and millions of views, right? All the top streamers were streaming it. So many people talking about off the grid. But then, of course, we started to get a little bit of the FUD. The game's not optimized. And they really kind of came out. Well, let me say it this way. Cheaters like kind of quickly started getting into the game and kind of ruining experience. So yeah, I've been paying very, very close attention to this because, of course they launched on PlayStation 5. You can play it on Xbox. It's the first crypto game, Web3 enabled game on console. So that's like absolutely massive, right? So I think it's like really, really exciting. I think it bodes incredibly well for the entire space. I'm super excited and bullish on like the team and the game because I've been playing the game. I really, really enjoy it. I want them to win. I want them to succeed. They're out there kind of like taking all the arrows from the traditional gamers kind of saying, oh, it's crypto. Oh, it's NFTs. We want nothing to do with it. Oh, it doesn't look good. Oh, it's unoptimized, which is true.
Yeah.
So we're anybody in this space, right? We're all kind of pioneers and like early to this industry and space. So I think that this is inevitably like a part of the adoption curve. And like what's going to happen, right? Illuvium's going to go through it. They are going through it. All of these games go through it. It's like a rite of passage at this point. So it's just like we're all just going to learn from it and kind of see and take away. And it's just ultimately going to make us stronger and better, like in an anti-fragile type of state. I will say, we're starting to see some things. So like Jonah even posted today saying that like he thinks it was a mistake for them to launch this early with the optimization issues with the cheaters and whatnot. So like it's a very interesting case study for sure. And Kyra was posting in our chat earlier, like I think Twitch viewers today was like under 200, which is like abysmal when you had 100,000 viewers on Twitch 2 weeks ago. I think in part they wanted to get out before Black Ops 6 came out. And then also they are teasing like a massive announcement this Friday, November 1st. They say that a new content pack is coming that will set Twitter on fire. So I don't know who that's going to be, because the first one was with Ninja. So we'll see if like that kind of reignites the marketing and, you know, can bring more players in. I mean, only as everything in like crypto and crypto gaming, like only time will tell, right?
Yeah, man, amazing. I'm so glad. This is why I wanted to bring you into this, because yeah, I think if I'm looking at it objectively, so I'm going to tell you about the report that I did on it. So they essentially started their campaign on the 8th for the big influencers. They started the campaign on the 8th. They staggered it out. From the 8th to the 14th. I think was the last you saw the trickle of the big guys there. I think they had the most on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken, and that's when you saw the most views. And based on my calculation, understanding how these guys get paid and whatnot, it looks like there was, and I think I don't mind sharing this because one, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but anyone that understands can figure it out themselves as well. But it looks like they spent a minimum of about $2 million in this.
Probably.
So yeah, so and I'm being pretty conservative there, I would say. So that, I think if they did that and spent that, and now we're looking at, even when I did the report on the 17th, I believe, which was like a week after. Well, regardless, there's like a 99, like you say, a 99% drop in viewership and exposure. So the objective of that marketing plan was to keep eyes on it. I don't know how it did. Someone else brought up a very good counter argument, saying that the most viewed guide on YouTube for Off the Grid had about 80,000 views, which means that at least, I mean, if you could take it and you can subtract some of the numbers, but we can expect at least 50,000 to 80,000 people that have played it. You wouldn't really look for a guide if you haven't downloaded or played it yourself. So that was a fair point. And if you look at that, that's looking at about a $50 to $25 customer acquisition cost with that $2 million price tag, which actually is relatively okay. Like that's quite good. So if they have those people playing, amazing. I've seen some people mention on Twitter today or yesterday, definitely yesterday, I just woke up, but last night, about that there are like 6-minute waits for games or something like that now. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like that's generally what we had. Like we're getting that right now with our Gauntlet. We haven't done a big marketing push, but I mean, yeah, 6 minutes. Like, what are your thoughts? I know you wanted to say.
Yeah, no, the that is true. We jumped in some lobbies last night. Some of them took 3, 4 minute, 5 minutes. I saw Cairo saying like, yeah, lobbies were smaller. They shut down the US West server. Not necessarily a bad thing. They are testing things and consolidating lobbies. And I think they pushed a patch through and they were, working on some stuff. So like all of this is still like, it's early release, right? It's early alpha. And it's like testing in prod, like it's like launching in public and building in public. So, like time will tell, right?
We can relate.
Yeah, right. I will say, like, if you track their like blockchain site, around the time that they launched, they maybe had like 3 million wallet addresses, and right now they're over 9 million wallet addresses. So these are like a lot of new accounts that have come and signed up. And, you can see like their total transactions and stuff like that. And you can track a lot of that on-chain activity. Now, some of that can be inflated artificially, bot activity, all that stuff. But like genuinely, I play the game every day and like I'm opening up hexes. I'm buying things on the marketplace because I'm like customizing my loadouts and stuff like that. So like the most exciting thing is just like how fun the game is and how well the like crypto Web3 integration and elements have been done on the marketplace. It's seamless for like a gamer, and like I think it's a really great use case for like crypto. And I'm like generating on-chain activity, and I'm happy to do it. I bought the battle pass. It's like $12 a month. I'm like, I feel like I get so much value from that battle pass that I'll pay that for the next 2-3 years, like happily, like I'll forget about it and just be like, oh, like whatever. Like I think they've done a lot of interesting things and a lot of things right that other games and people can like look to. Are they perfect? Like, no. And are there issues with the game? Like, yeah, sure. I would point one other thing I want to make a point to. I would definitely, if you're interested or anyone interested, follow Theodore Argonaut on Twitter. He's their director of Web3, and he spoke with Andy Slaps, and Andy Slaps like was grilling him with like questions. Is like the game's unoptimized, and he said what you guys are saying. Like Andy said to his face, he's like, this marketing push is great, but the game is so unoptimized that probably half, if not more, of the people that try to play it are gonna quit and not play it again because they had a bad
That's my issue.
experience.
I don't have a computer strong enough to even try to play it. And once I heard it wasn't optimized, I was just like, I guess I'll just wait until
Yeah.
my computer can handle it.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic point, right? Theodore and Andy made a video of this. It's like 3 or 4 minutes long. Theodore had a really great answer to it. He's out here publicly kind of taking that criticism, kind of like Kieran does. And it's like, hey, here's what we think and here's how our approach to it. So I had a lot of respect for Theodore and just the Gunzilla team in how they're, still like, Web3 focused, because this was the day after the game launched, and he came on Doug Hype's like Hyped Space, which is a very core Web3 gaming audience. When he's got Ninja streaming the game, he came to talk to us like Web3 degens and gamers. So I really respected that. And his answer was like, listen, like, we want to bring this game to 100 million players. So like, we need to test the servers, we need to test the game, we need to launch to a few million, to a few 100,000. We had to come out and get this launch out so that we could like, get that feedback and see where it's going to break.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how much capital they have in their treasury and whatnot, like if that's the price that it takes to get that data, and I mean, if they can do it, it makes sense. Like that's a logical reasoning. Look, I think the marketing push was phenomenal. Like I know how hard it is to put something like that together and actually execute it at the level that they did.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. The eyes that they got on it, incredible. I think the timing, I don't know. Again, from the outside looking in, I don't know the internal decisions.
Yeah.
Outside looking in, I'm like, maybe not the right decision, but maybe they had a reason for it. I do wish them nothing but the best. I think that Off the Grid is by far one of the top names in the space right now that has that potential. It is on PS5. It is on Xbox. It's been like, it's starting. You could even see, I forget the guy's name. It might be Tim the Tatman. That was saying, like, kind of understanding the benefits of the digital assets inside of games. And so I think they've done a great service, a great job to the Web3 community, Web3 gaming in general, and they pushed us forward in a huge way. And I'm very excited to see where they keep going. I don't think this is the end at all. I think this is just the beginning.
So staying kind of on the same topic of Off the Grid, I'm just going to move to the next segment here. Do you think they could pick things back up if they started implementing more like of an esports scene with Off the Grid? And Icy, you probably know, actually, you definitely know a lot more about this than I do. Like, do they have any plans to get into esports?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think Paul Bettner, founder of Wildcard, he built Words with Friends and sold it to Zynga for like $180 million. He's spoken about this often on Gamified, and he says something like really great. It's like, you don't build a game for esports, like esports like chooses you. So like the players like will decide whether you're an esport game or not. So I think Theodore kind of spoke to something kind of similar, but they definitely like want to be able to have a game that esports likes and is attractive and exciting for that type of stuff. I know that they had like a little tournament down in the AVAC Summit in Buenos Aires.
Yeah,
Spike like kind of had like a fun little creator tournament. I think that they'll definitely lean into that. Guys, I'm looking forward to Friday. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I tried to ask Theodore. I'm like, what is it? Like, what's the content pack going to be on Friday? And he wouldn't tell us. So to your point about like picking back up and like the next steps, like, I think that'll, I don't know, we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these things take time, right? Like, you start grassroots, like you say, with the Spike, create a tournament, invitationals. Like, you start at grassroots and over time. And I think that's a much better way than Gunzilla, like, kind of coming out and saying, hey, this is what we have. This is a huge thing. It seems artificial. Let it grow organically.
Yeah, don't force it.
Yeah, let the community
I
demand
really
it.
like
You need
I
more
really like
demand
what
for
you
it.
said, Icy, about let esports choose the game, not the
Yeah.
game choose esports. And the one thing that I thought of right away, and I think TSG would agree with me here,
Smash. I
that
thought the same
Super
thing.
Smash
I
Bros.
thought the same
Because
thing.
that
Yeah.
game was even the creator says it's not designed for esports,
Right.
but it's such a competitive game that esports chose Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
To be like you know a big hit in the esports world.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like that. Don't force it. Just make a good competitive game and let the players make it competitive and want it to be part of esports.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I did think of Smash Bros. I was like,
Yeah,
yes,
I knew
people
it
absolutely chose that.
right away. That was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
just
yeah.
give you guys flowers for a second, because the whole layout and like look of the show is so darn good, man. I actually took a screenshot of this like months ago and sent it to like one of my designers. I'm like, this is what I want to look like. Like, this is so good. So Najaf, man, and Jimbo, I know so much work goes into this behind the scenes, and you guys are crushing it. You even got like the prices of the tokens going across
I
the
keep
top, man.
trying
That's
to
all
make
the
it
Jafe,
better.
not me.
I
That's
keep
all
trying to
Najaf.
make
It's
it
all
better.
Jimbo. It's all Jimbo.
Jimbo pulls it together because if I didn't have a consistent co-host, I don't know what I would do. So I need Jimbo. I'll put in all the pre-work. Jimbo comes on and makes it a show.
Jimbo, yeah, we're all here for Jimbo.
I bring the beef.
But yeah, all right, awesome. Yeah, in terms
Yeah.
of the esports stuff, Jimbo, I mean, you've been watching. I'm actually very curious. You've been watching League at the moment.
Mhm.
What do you see from that you think we can learn from in Web3?
Pushing narratives and trying to that's the most important thing is so esports is marketing for your game at the end of the day, right? So pushing narratives that people can buy into that makes them excited to watch the game, and in turn the more that they watch the more that they're going to want to play the game. You're like kind of subliminally brainwashing. So like for me, like I always have to fight the urge to play League of Legends because I don't want to like go off on somebody or hate my life for the rest of the day. So but watching it is completely fine and fun, but it makes me want to go in and play, and then when I play I want to buy these skins because I saw this guy using that skin, or I saw him using this character, so I have to buy that character. That's the kind of thing that, for me personally, I would want to push if I had a game that was trying to push some kind of esports scene. Is building those narratives that get people excited to play your game. And
And
by narratives, I'm talking about the different teams and how they interact with each other when they play.
and are those narratives driven by the community or the game studio and the game
The game.
itself?
Sometimes it's a mix of both, but
Okay.
generally the community will start them, or and then the game studio
Game studio
will run
amplifies
with
it.
it. Yes,
Amplifies it. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think that's really really good information actually, because we are like this weekend. But we're not doing anything huge right now. We're just testing the waters with some grassroots tournament stuff. I know Inferno's coming back this week with a 32 player invitational. Next week, I know Phantom's doing something. And I think, yeah, having a couple of these, let's start to find. I think some of the narratives will kind of show themselves, and some of the. I know the Brazilian guys are coming back. I know Stormy's coming back, and we knew how they did back in the day. So I think that, yeah, I'm sure we're going to see some. I mean, the guild narratives. That there's a lot that we can play with. So yeah, keen to see how that all plays out, and I'll be sure to tell the team on our side. Let's absolutely run with it, amplify it, and not just leave it as a community thing. Let's participate in this. I agree with that.
Awesome, guys. Well, let's close this up before say our final words here. I am giving away those 2 emotes, and we only have 5 people who typed prize in the chat, and I'm giving away 2 of them. So
Hold
you
on,
already have a
wait.
40%
Hold on. Let me
chance
go
of
back to
winning
the
one.
chat. Hold on.
Get in there. Yeah, come on, Icy, because then you gotta rock this emote. You gotta get into Illuvium and rock this emote if you win it. Yeah, get in there in about 10 seconds. I am going to spin, and we'll give away 2 of these emotes. But before I spin, everyone, thank you for coming on. TSG, thank you for coming on. Icy, coming on for a couple segments. It was great having you on. Jimbo, as always. Yeah, and if you're not too familiar with Icy, first of all,
What are you
what are you
doing?
doing? Yeah, like you should be familiar with him, but definitely go over and follow all of his stuff He makes great content. You know, every once in a while, or I know he's done talked about some Illuvium at some point. ETH Lizards for sure.
I
But
give
he's making content
Illuvium
on
as
all
much
of it.
love as I can. Anytime that there's
Yeah.
big news stories, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't go as deep as you guys because you guys know way more about the ecosystem than I do. But man, Illuvium is one of the games that inspired me 2.5 years ago when I first joined the space. I remember when like the private overworld like launch, I was just blown away. I jumped in there a bunch. I love Illuvium and what you guys are doing, and TSG knows this. His content inspired 2 years ago. His YouTube videos were inspiring me to make similar versions. So no, I'm always supporting Illuvium whenever I can.
And I'll say this, outside of the content side, we know this in the space. There are a lot of just weird actors in the space. I'll put it that way. I'll say it that way. But genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I see as being one of the most genuine guys that I have met, like actually. And there's never any bullshit with him. And yeah, genuinely, if you're not following, what are you doing? Like, he
I
is by far
completely
one of
agree.
the greatest
Much love,
people
boys.
in
Much
the
love,
space.
much
as
Genuine.
well. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
Appreciate that, boys. No, it's great to get up here, and we gotta
I'm
do more
glad you
content.
came.
We gotta do
I'm
more
glad you
content,
came.
I gotta do more. Yeah. Oh, always more. We gotta keep pushing the whole Web3 gaming. All right. So we have 8 people in here. I'm gonna spin this twice, and I would just say if it's you, like, get me in the DMs either on X or Discord, and just send me your IMX wallet, and I will send it over to you. All right, here we go. First winner. I see. I
Give
hope
me
you.
that
Win.
email.
I want to get you one of these emotes.
Bro, give me the email.
It's all
You don't
good.
need an emote. Better not be TSG. I'm not giving you an emote. Oh,
Damn.
yeah, it's gonna be TSG.
Damn.
Watch.
So,
Ricky
Ricky
Chan!
Chan.
He wins everything.
Absolute
I don't
legend.
even know if I should give one to him.
Absolute legend.
He literally, he's the luckiest guy in Illuvium.
Shout out,
Bro,
Ricky.
how does he actually do this?
Shout out,
he
Ricky
had
Chan.
he had a good chance. He had like
He's a goat, man. He's a goat, man.
He's
He's
a
got
goat.
strats. Get
He's got
good.
the strats, yeah.
Get good, man. Get good at raffles.
Skill,
He's not
Alright, here
getting
we go.
VONC, that's for
skill
sure.
issue. Skill issue.
RNGesus.
All right, I'm gonna spin again. I'm not sure if it takes Ricky out, but if it lands on a Ricky again, I'm spinning a third. All right, so here we go. Here's the next one. It probably is gonna land.
And look at that thing go.
Yeah, it really spin that time.
How many times you clicked that, did you?
I don't know.
Hey,
Hey,
let's go.
All right. So both you, I talk to both you guys every once in a while in chats anyway. So just send me your IMX address and I will get you over those Halloween emotes, and then you can
Fire.
rock those in Gauntlet or
Well done.
whatever you got to do with them. But yeah, that's about it for this episode. You know, episode 56. We're done. Hoping to be back in 2 weeks on a Wednesday night for the next episode. And yeah, that's it. Thanks guys for joining. Thanks everyone for watching. Catch
Bye.
you later.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Oh damn, we have 72 people who joined.